driving toward the sunrise on I-70, Colorado in the rear view.
Thank goodness it's Friday, because the weekend is better when it's filled with geocaching. Welcome to TGIF Geocaching Radio, a monthly audio show all about geocaching and the excellent adventures that await us. So stay tuned and let's hang out. Greetings! I am the Bruce Zero, aka Geoff, and coming up we've got adventures, news, music, a contest update, and more geocaching goodness. Well, I don't know about you, but this month hit like a ton of snow. Literally. So I live between 3 Great Lakes in Ontario, and everyone in our area, north and south of the border, were blasted by what we all know as the lake effect. It seems like Niagara and Buffalo got the brunt of it with somewhere between 1 to 2 meters in one weekend. Where I'm at, we got a decent amount of snow, but we also had cold, frigid gusts and blustery snowdrifts, and the winter's just getting started. The snow came before I got my winter tires on. Thankfully, my Deja handled it like a pro, and good thing because there were a good number of events to attend this month. Do you have a regular event that you like to attend? Maybe weekly or monthly? I recently began a very simple, basic monthly morning coffee event nearby, Monday Motivation. And bright and early, or at least 8 a.m., before work begins. It's a great way to start the week and month, and interestingly, it's had a number of newer geocaches attend. It doesn't get oodles of people, of course, but it's a very relaxed way to wake up and geo-socialize with some stories and chatter. In the winter, even better, warming up to a nice, hot, steamy brew in your hands. Do a quick search in your area. If there are events like that you could attend, I highly recommend making an appearance. And the community is just better when people get to casually know each other, I think. Out with the old and in with the new, Geocaching HQ has announced the theme for this year's New Year souvenirs. In a blog post titled, "Drop Your Anchor and Set Sail with 2 New Souvenirs," you can earn the Drop Anchor 2022 souvenir by finding a geocache, attending an event, or completing an Adventure Lab location between December 24th and 31st. Likewise, in the new year, earn the Full Sail 2023 souvenir by doing the same between January 1st and 8th. These souvenirs you can see on your profile and are a great way to end the old year and start the new year on a great geo note. Yes, geocachers just need to add geo to any word, and suddenly it's a geocaching term. Okay, let's recap from last month when I announced a brand new contest. I recently completed a large cache tour video series called The Lone Wolf Legacy on YouTube, and within each of those videos, except for one, there was a smiley face next to a single word. The first 50 people who find all of those words, string them together, and append it to the URL cachetheline.net/thewords will all receive a special bonus prize. That prize will be announced soon, but it's one that you'll love to have and add to a collection. ... Patrons have an idea. Project EGA is something I've been working on for a long time, and it's nearing completion. So, for complete details about how to enter the contest, be sure to check out the show notes for this episode listed in the description. So far, we have 11 successful winners out of 50. Will you be next? Watch the Lone Wolf Cache Tour series at cachetheline.net/lonewolf. That's /LONEWOLF.
Back up in the hills where the dark secrets keep, in a place called Forgotten Gulch where the signal will not reach, where latitude and longitude don't mean nothing at all. Legend tells of a cache no man has laid hands upon.
Do you recognize that tune?
No one knows who placed it.
We have with us a musician you may have heard if you've attended some large geocaching events. Big welcome to Steve Weeks, aka The Travel Bugs. How's the weather?
Hey, how's it going? It's great to be on your podcast. And the weather here is cold. We're in Colorado. We've had our first couple of snows. We had a pretty big one the other day.
Oh yeah, because I was just saying we have been hit by a huge amount of snow, the lake effect over here in the Great Lakes, and it's insane. Some places have got a meter or two of snow, and it's not December yet.
I know. I heard about that. I think on the U.S. side, maybe Buffalo.
Yes.
Got creamed by the big lake effect storm that came through.
Yep, I think some photos have gone viral as well. So, introduce yourself. How long have you been caching? What's your caching name, etc.?
Okay, sure. So I'm Steve Weeks. I've had two caching handles throughout my geocaching career. Is it a career? Time and geocaching. Because initially it was my family. So we geocached as a family, and we had a handle. It was just the Weeks, which is kind of a defunct handle now. And then and we started early, in the early days of geocaching, 2001, 2002 maybe. I have to look, because I think we planted a cache in 2002 or 2003. And that was after we've been caching for a while. And then when I decided to, undertake this geocaching music experiment, which was 2010, 2011, I decided, I want to have a different handle to kind of separate that. And so I created the Travel Bugs handle, and it's so the_travel_bugs is the handle. And that's the one. And for a while there was kind of geocaching under both, depending on whether it was with my family or not. And then I finally just moved over, and all the geocaching I do is under the Travel Bugs.
What made you come up with Travel Bugs as the name?
So that's kind of interesting, because when I initially decided, hey, I want to do this, come on, and I always thought I want to have a fake band. I want to have a pseudonym for a band. I started looking at what web URLs were available, quite honestly. And believe it or not, at the time, The Geocachers was available. So I originally purchased that domain, and the idea was the band was going to be called The Geocachers. And I thought, wow, that's great. How lucky could I get? And it took me a while to make the album, probably almost a year, of just gradually writing and recording songs. I kind of had sort of a change of heart and thought, it's not very interesting. It's not clever. So then I thought, what about the Travel Bugs? Because it's one of my favorite concepts of geocaching is, things that travel around, trackables. And it just sounds more like a band. So that's where I came up with that. And I went and looked, and travelbugs.com was taken, I think some travel agency or something, but Travel Bugs Music was not. So I changed everything over and released it as the Travel Bugs.
Yeah. Do you have any confusion with other people? Because Travel Bug is like a term for somebody who loves traveling.
I don't personally have confusion with like travel agencies and stuff. But right now, I do have a sort of a weird little thing going on where on YouTube, so YouTube picks up, songs just through its algorithms, right? I didn't go load my songs, whatever, but just because my songs, the Travel Bug songs, are out there in the wild, YouTube picks up on them and provides a way for people to listen to them. There is a kids music group called Travel Bugs. And originally when I looked at my YouTube channel, it assigned all of their videos to my group. So when you looked at my channel originally, it was like, who are these people? Why are they out here? And it wasn't anything they did. I think also their music was out in the wild. My music was out in the wild, and YouTube said, well, it must be this band. So yeah.
Well, how long have you actually been writing music? I think you said that about 2010 you started doing geocaching stuff.
I had always done music. I'm one of those people that just love music ever since I was a little kid. I always just had a bent towards songwriting. Even when I was very young, I was the kid plunking away at the piano, would come up with something, I started recording music probably in my high school, college years with some friends. We had a recording project that was more social, just an opportunity for us to get together and write goofy little tunes. So that was when I started. Then in early 2000s, like 2002, years later, I have little kids. I started writing and recording family children's music as for their curriculum, a curriculum that they were in. Mm-hmm. And it was right when satellite radio was on the rise and was looking for material. I was kind of in the right place at the right time. And that I kind of, like I say, I was in the right place at the right time and had some success there, national success. Mm-hmm. And so for 6 years or so, I was producing albums of family music and starting to play around a little bit, perform and actually starting to say, hey, maybe this could be a little more than a hobby. I still, have a day job or whatever. And then in 2010, I was kind of between kids' music albums and needed a music project. And I thought, man, this would be really fun because geocaching is not a genre. It's more about the audience. So you can kind of do whatever you want to. If you want to do a country song, do a country song. If you want to do a rock song or a blues song or reggae, you can do anything you want to because it's really more about the audience than it is about the genre, which is really kind of liberating as a songwriter. Like, I really want to do a reggae song. Have at it,
Reggae geocaching. Yeah, it's kind of an untapped community of people. There isn't really, you don't think of like music and geocaching together.
Yeah, you don't. But what I'm finding, and I'm sure you found this too. I mean, I would say, well, you don't think of having a radio program, a podcast, and geocaching together. But you've got a lot of people in the geocaching community that have creative skills or more creative desire, I guess. Yeah. And they like geocaching. They're passionate about geocaching. They have this thing they want to do, whether it's writing a book, making a movie, podcast, or, music. And they want to apply those skills to this pastime that they love. And so it is a weird little mashup, but for me, it kind of made perfect sense. I was like, this is a really good way for me to, make some music and have some fun with it. And the unexpected part was the people I met and the opportunities it led to in that manner,
Yeah, it's such a versatile hobby. Is there a geocaching song that you think is the most popular that people know you most by?
I think it's hard to say because it is such a niche, but I do think a lot of people responded well to Whom It May Concern, which was from the album Found It.
To whom it may concern, my name is Mugford Leon Guy. I raise a few...
And I think they responded because it's funny and geocachers are really good at sort of being self-effacing. They acknowledge we know we're overly passionate about this thing that other people are probably looking kind of sideways at, and I think to them it's an acknowledgement of here's how funny it would look from the outside of a bunch of people in a field wandering around like what's going on over there. So people responded. I think that was the most popular one, I think. And there was a video that went along with that as well, I think, which helped.
So tell us about the travel bugs and Bugsy Travels and maybe any other geocaching musicians maybe you've played along with or partnered with in covers or shows.
Sure. So first of all, the Travel Bugs is a performing group. It's very, very, very seldom that I get to perform as the Travel Bugs. There just aren't a ton of opportunities. I tour a lot as a musician, but more as either a singer-songwriter or that family music side that I was talking about is really the lion's share of the traveling that I do and performing. But I have performed at geocaching events. Sometimes I'm a solo act, just myself, and usually I'll do acoustic versions on my guitar. The 2 times that I've played as a full band, as you mentioned, there's a group in Belgium called Bugsy Travels and the Ammo Boxes. Their take on geocaching music is slightly different. I write original songs about geocaching. They take existing popular songs, well-known songs, and they parody them by changing the lyrics to be about geocaching. So they have filled in as my backup band on 2 occasions. 3 really, I guess, if at Manchester we did 2 shows. And then I have also played with them at the geocaching headquarter event. I was an ammo box for a day.
That was a great concert. That was really fun.
Oh, that was a ton of fun. You had asked about other geocaching music. I don't know of any other except in the early days when I was first doing geocaching music, there was a guy out of Germany, and he was Dosenfischer. And I think he had a podcast that was very popular. And if I'm not mistaken, Dosenfischer is German for like a someone who fishes for Tupperware. Like that's what it means. It's like a Tupperware fisher or something. I could be wrong about that. But so, and he did an album. He might have done 2 albums. They were in German, I believe. So it was specifically to a German audience. And I communicated with him, and even I came very close to collaborating with him on a song, but he, I think he eventually stopped doing the geocaching music. Yeah. Not a lot of us around.
That's for sure. Do you have maybe a favorite song that you've made, like one that you loved creating, or you just loved, even if it wasn't the most popular song, just your favorite song?
Well, one of them that I really enjoyed was The Lost Cache of Forgotten Gulch, because it has this sort of dark blue, and I'm a bluegrass guy by nature, and it allowed me to like play the banjo.
The numbers started spinning and the wind began to moan. He looked down at the encrypted words he held there in his hand. He said, I'll never give up and I won't decrypt that hint.
The funny thing is I'm not trying to sidestep the question. The difficulty in answering that is, like I say, because it's not genre specific. Every song I did, there's like a reason I did it. I got a lot of personal satisfaction out of doing all of them. You know, when I put out The Worst Cacher, which is like a Celtic song, that was like, I really want to do this sort of like Irish drinking song that all the geocachers can raise their glass together to.
Kids have not been found. Raise your glass to Daniel Neville Flunkerbomb the Third. He's the worst cacher to have ever walked this earth. 20 years he's searched, but a cache he's not found. He cannot find his own behind when he is sitting down.
You know, and most recently the Kickstarter campaign with its mega, that was the one where I really got to collaborate with other geocachers like yourself and other backers to say, hey, let's go along in this songwriting process and kind of bring everybody into the fold. So that experience was truly unique for me.
Let's put a pin in that thought and come back to it right after this. It is time for the Patron Adventurer of the Month. Cache the Line is supported by a band of excellent adventurers through Patreon who graciously pitch in and help the channel continue to grow and improve. And for this show, our Patron Adventurer of the Month is Nunavut Taidy. Paul is our longest-standing patron who started supporting over 4 years ago. On a trip eastward, he stopped by during my Lone Wolf road trip, and we crossed paths, having a wonderful in-person chat along with Cache Canada, who'd also made the trek to Jimmy's Castle virtual. Thank you to Paul for your long-standing support of Cache the Line. You can help support Cache the Line and unlock bonus content and swag, including participating in Project EGA, by visiting patreon.com/cachetheline. Patreon.com/cachetheline. Your support is appreciated. You know, this is one of the reasons why, I love challenge caches. My feet are stuck in mud right now. This was supposed to be a paddle cache, but I decided to go for a little wade down the river. And I was like, it looks pretty deep, but the waders can handle it. Only problem is these are cheap waders and are not very good for a rocky base. That was a close one. But I'm working on a challenge and I really need this DT, this difficulty terrain combination, towards qualifying. And the next one is really, really, really far away. So I pulled up and I'm like, should I go for this? Should I use the waders and dive right in? And I just said, let's do this. And now I'm in the middle of a beautiful stream. It could be done by kayak, but what a way to spend an afternoon. This is why I love challenge caches. It gets you to push your limit just a little bit and do things that you might otherwise just pass up, maybe entirely or for another day. Well, I found this cache, and that's one less for the challenge. Sweet! Another smiley on the map. Oh, listen to this stream. On the morning of November 12th, geocachers came to the rescue. According to ledauphine.com in France, hikers who were geocaching and out to find GC38R4P, a high-terrain extreme geocache not for the claustrophobic, requiring spelunking into an old abandoned mine, found a missing person, a 45-year-old mother of two who had been missing for 5 days. They'd entered the mine and found the geocache, but also found the woman unconscious. They called firefighters who dispatched a rescue team who managed to evacuate her and ultimately save her life. Amazing news from a group of geocachers and heroes that day, Kiku43 and Miss LN. Do you have a story of a rescue or discovery thanks to geocachers who were in the right place at the right time? Send an email to tgif@cachetheline.net, tgif@cachetheline.net, or phone one in and leave an audio message at cachetheline.net/POI. Let's get back to our chat now with Steve as he talks about his latest releases and funding his newest song with the help of the community on Kickstarter.
Pouring through the door, 1,000 and counting. Travel bugs on the stage, rocking out loud. We're filling up the house and we know we hit 1,000. We didn't stop, so everybody shout, it's mega. Yes, it is. It's mega.
It was really, really interesting to me to be able to say, let me take a breath and share with you where I'm at. And then some people would write with questions and want to know a little bit more. And that was very, 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 very rewarding.
Maybe you could tell us a little bit about that project, about It's Mega, and the fact that it was crowdfunded. Like, what was your experience trying to create this new song using this new platform?
Yeah, so I had tried Kickstarter once before years ago to try and do an entire album. And I think I overreached. Like, I added up and said, what would I need to do like another album worth of music? And it was just a little too much. So that one wasn't successful. So this was my first successful crowdfunding campaign. And in this one, I always had the idea in my head of, wouldn't it be cool if there was a song called It's Mega? And I wasn't even thinking about a crowdsourced song. I was like, that would be a really just, to celebrate when an event becomes a mega. Mm-hmm. But then all of a sudden I started thinking about it. I was like, maybe this would be a really good way to recognize some other geocachers and have, just to, like I say, honor and recognize people's contributions to the geocaching sport pastime. And so I decided, it can't hurt. The nice thing about like crowdsourcing with a platform like that is there's almost no risk other than loss of time, because it's sort of a vote of confidence. You put it out there and say, hey, I'm willing to do this. Do you guys want me to do it or not? And if people would have come back and said, no, thank you, then it doesn't happen. That, there's nothing lost. But it was well received. People got excited about it, and it got funded, and the whole journey was really, really exciting. It was a very unique songwriting experience for me, because it's not often that I'm updating people. Like, okay, here's how we wrote the lyrics. What do you think? Here's the music I'm thinking about. What do you think? And every step of the way. You
give backers the opportunity to see behind the scenes. And the other aspect that I think is really great about that was that you provided backers the opportunity to participate in the song.
Oh yeah, that was really unique from an engineering standpoint, because I was getting audio files in different formats that were recorded on different microphones in different spaces. Some, and trying to make it all sound like everyone's in the same room and mixing that down. But it really gave it a big a party atmosphere. And that was what I really wanted to capture, was I want this song to sound like a party.
Yeah, and this song is not released yet. When is it coming out? When can people find it and listen to it?
So the release date is December 1st. I believe, it's all queued up. I believe that on December 1st, you'll be able to find it in all the normal places like Spotify and Pandora and YouTube. Sometimes things take a little while to get out, but I will certainly make an announcement on my Facebook page and web page wherever it hits first, so that people who want to hear it on that day can go find it.
Yeah. And maybe one of these days in the future at another big mega or gig event, you'll hear people singing the song in the crowd.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah.
Do you think you would fund another song in the future the same way?
I would, because it was really, really enjoyable. And like I say, it's sort of a vote of confidence. Like, so it's a way of knowing up front, I'm doing something that people want and will appreciate, you know, instead of just, I'm going to go write this song and see if it throws the spaghetti on the wall and see if it sticks. It's sort of it's a unique experience to say, yeah. And also I did really love the aspect of getting feedback and bringing people along. It changed the song. It really sort of guided the direction of the song, because I'm, you know, saying, okay, I need to have an update with this thing. So here's what I'm going to do. And, you know, I don't know if you were watching the videos, there were some happy mistakes in there that ended up getting left in, because like, wow, that was something I was just doing because I wanted to show on the update, like this would be kind of fun. And like, I think I'm going to leave that in. Or, you know, doing the video, I would kind of ham it up a little bit. And then I was like, you know, I like the way that I sang that, even though I'm kind of being a caricature, it kind of fits the song. So I'm going to go with that. So I would most certainly do it. The big thing is I need to really sit down and noodle over a good idea.
Yeah.
Because the other part that I enjoyed about it was that it kind of gave back a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to say, hey, can you guys fund me to write another song? Because I want to write another song. But I liked the aspect of, hey, you're funding me, but what I'm also doing is I'm putting you in the song.
Yeah.
Like I'm recognizing the backers as well. That was rewarding for me as well.
Yeah. There's like a level of co-ownership in a way for the
Yeah.
song.
Yeah. And I hope when the backers hear it, they do feel a little bit of ownership in it, you know.
There's also another song that you just recently launched. It has a video as well. Can you tell us a bit about that one?
Oh, you're talking about Mingo Bound. Yeah. So Hans, who is the drummer for Bugsy Travels and the Ammo Boxes, which we mentioned, the Belgian band, and I've become fast friends with them. We played, on a very short side note, we got introduced together. We got hooked up together for the Geo Coin Fest 2019 in Manchester, England. We were literally just put together by the organizers and said, you know, hey, will you guys back this guy up? And, you know, they said yes. We kind of sent each other audio files, practiced online, and met in Manchester, shook hands, and first time we ever met, then we played together. And then we were just kind of birds of a feather. So we've become good friends. So Hans, who was coming over for the Seattle headquarters party, they had never been to the United States. And he took a little more time. He didn't just come over for the event. He came over for a couple of weeks and traveled around a bit. And he and his wife are very, very, very avid geocachers. So he wanted to come to Colorado. And so we said, yeah, come stay with us, you know, and we'll show you around. And the funny thing is we get here and I've got everything planned. Like I'm like, okay, I've researched what everybody's favorite caches are in the area. I'm trying to remember the ones that I liked. This one has a beautiful waterfall. People love this one. This one's a great puzzle. And we're going to go west. We're going to go into these beautiful mountains. You're going to love Colorado. And we get here and he's like, oh no, Steve, we're going east. And I'm like, east? No one goes east. No one goes to Colorado. It goes east. He wanted, of course, anyone who knows the area probably knows what I'm talking about is the Mingo cache. The Mingo, the oldest existing, still existing cache is out. It's about 3.5 hours from us, out on the prairie. You
can't pass up that opportunity.
I know. Well, that's what he said. And I'm like, all right, I will do this. But I drive out there all the time on my way touring, because I go back east to tour in Oklahoma and, you know, places like that. And I've played once at the Mingo Madness event. I'm just a solo act. So, but at any rate, I'm like, okay, I get it. You want to go, but if we're going to do this, we're gonna make a project out of it. If I'm gonna drive you 3.5 hours on the prairie and back for this one cache, we're gonna take music instruments and we're gonna do a video. And so I wrote a song called Mingo Bound, and I wanted it to sound a little bit like those old back in the 70s. There was the old, what they call trucker music, you know, Convoy and all. I wanted it to have that sort of road trippy type sound, you know, pedal to the floor and all that sort of stuff.
Pedal down, Mingo bound toward the oldest cache around. Good old number 30's calling me. It takes some time to log this one, but we won't stop until we're done. Gonna sign our names to history.
So I wrote a song about going to Mingo. It's called Mingo Bound, and it really is just about taking a road trip to go see the Mingo cache.
Yeah.
we drove out. Hans and Inga, his wife, took videos while I'm driving on the phones. He just took lots of videos as we were driving. And then when we got to the cache site, we actually set up a small wooden drum set. I got my guitar out and we played the song and videoed that as well.
That's
and
awesome.
turned the whole thing into a nice little video.
So yeah, it's a perfect video to make a music video at Mingo, singing about Mingo.
Yeah. And there was a truck driver who pulled over. I'm sure he was about to call like Homeland Security or something because we're out there unloading all this equipment. And he's just looking at us, what is going on down there?
Strumming away in the middle of nowhere at the corner of a fence line.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you have any upcoming events or anywhere that people can meet you or see you, or how can people find and follow you?
I don't have any performances as the Travel Bugs. I'm just now starting to book my summer for other performances, and I'll be around the country. I've been reaching out to some interesting places to see if there's geocaching organizations there that have events big enough that would merit music. So I'm always interested in that. Sometimes people contact me, but oftentimes, there's just the event's not big enough and just doesn't have the resources to host a music event. But online, you can find me at travelbugsmusic.com. And from there, there's links to, the Facebook page. I have a Facebook page where I post things whenever there's something new. And also I think there's links there to the YouTube channel and stuff like that, but primarily the Facebook page is where there's new information. The travelbugsmusic.com is where there's all the information, like all the backstory of me and Bugs in the Bugsy Travels and how to book and how to find the music and the lyrics and things like that. It's all at travelbugsmusic.com.
Are all of your songs available for listening online, or do people buy your albums
They're all
from the
out
website?
they're all out there, I believe, on YouTube, and I forget. It seems like it keeps changing, but Spotify, YouTube, all those streaming services, they're all out there. I still have CDs for those people who still have a CD player.
What's a CD?
Box of CDs? I know, exactly. I do. And in fact, I made a lot of the CDs, about 50 of them, I think I made them trackable.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Just because really people don't have CD players anymore. And so by making them trackable, it kind of adds a little bit.
Gives a little extra value as well. It's like if they go missing and somebody finds it, it's a rare copy. It's that TB code. There's only one in existence.
There you go. So there are, but yes, it's available for streaming in all the usual places. There's one song that's not out there anywhere except on Travel Bugs Music, but it's freely available, called Fiona Finds an Earth Cache.
Who's that coming up the trail below? A map in her hand, adventure in her soul. Here she comes with a smile on her face. Fiona's on her way to find an Earth cache.
And that was a song that a lady, back when I was trying to get to Manchester, I was trying to raise funds to make it easier and cheaper for the event. So I told them, I'll do a bunch of fundraising, and whatever money I raise, I will knock off the cost of me getting over there. So this lady in Scotland, her caching handle is Miss Scott Hogg. She loves earth caching and had found, I think, 800 or 900 at the time of this. She commissioned me to write a song about earth caching, and when I finished, I said, "Hey, this is your song, right? You can do with it whatever you want to with it." And she said, "I would like for you to make it freely available to people." And so it's on the website. You can go there and just listen to that one directly off the Travel Bugs Music website.
That's good. Because then, anybody on the road trips, highly recommended. You can create a playlist of all these geocaching songs of the Travel Bugs.
Yeah. And I'll give a little plug for Bugsy Travels too, because their music's fun. They're different things because, mine is more, like I say, original tunes about geocaching. There's a little bit of humor, and some of it's just celebrating things about geocaching. Bugsy Travels is going to be songs that It's going to be like, David Bowie's Space Odyssey, or a song that really well, but the lyrics will just be different.
Yeah. If you were at HQ's celebration and you were there for the concert, you know that there are fun songs to listen to.
Yes.
Yep. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Steve, on this podcast, and we can't wait for the new song launch. You might be listening after December 1st, but if you're listening before December 1st, watch for December 1st. Where will you be releasing the new song?
I will announce it on Facebook, and I'll certainly put it on travelbugsmusic.com as well. Where it will be is, I send it to a distributor, and it goes all the places.
Everywhere.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Worldwide release.
Yeah, exactly. Wherever you listen to your music, it's probably going to eventually hit it. It just kind of gets out there. So I don't know. A lot of people use Pandora, Spotify. Some people listen to music on YouTube. TikTok. I mean, whatever places that you can listen to music, it'll be out there.
Awesome. Well, thanks again.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
I can tell you about the things I saw. I can tell you about the fun I had. Oh, I can tell you that you made my day. I can tell you that it was a blast. But what I really want to tell you is, thanks for the cash.
If you feel so inclined, I'd encourage you to support the Travel Bugs by buying an album. Set it to play for those geocaching road trips to really get in the geo mood. Thanks for listening to the show. Coming up in December, I've got a special audio 12 Days of Geo Vlogmas series in the works for this year. And I'd love to hear from you. If you have any stories or accomplishments or rants or raves to share, send it over to tgif@cachetheline.net or leave an audio message at cachetheline.net/POI. Please remember to give this show a thumbs up or a positive review. Thank you to all the patrons who support Cache the Line. If you'd like to join the band of excellent adventurers, please find us on Patreon or by visiting cachetheline.net/Patreon. You can support Cache the Line and get bonus swag and access to exclusive content for as little as a cup of coffee per month, or with a discount per year. See you next month with more exploration into the world of excellent geocaching adventures. Please subscribe, follow, share with your friends, and comment where you're able. And as always, happy caching and excellent adventuring.